Hey everybody, it's that time of year, kind of hard to believe, but it's the end of the year and we're all thinking about the holidays. It's upon us, and I have some thoughts to share with you. We have just recently launched, as you know, the Project Life app has now a new feature, which is all about making the holiday cards in like less than 2 minutes on your phone or your iPad, and it's just a beautiful thing, and everyone's feeling really excited about how easy it is. So it kind of made me feel a little bit reminiscent about back in the day and how it was never really that easy for me, like ever. So I have this history of overcomplicating things. So unusual that women do that. But anyway, I have a history of doing that, and I'm sure that many of you watching probably have some similar inclinations, or perhaps if you don't anymore, you did the way that I do, right? So that's in my history. So I thought this would be really fun to show you some of the things that I used to do in terms of production of my Christmas cards. So David and I were married 20 years ago. That means that we have been a family for 20 years, which means we've sent a card every single Christmas season, which means we have 20 cards. Not funny. It's awesome. That's a great tradition, right? So I'm really excited about that. The funny part for me is when I look back and I think about the intense production that it has been for me, that I brought on myself to get these cards done, it's kind of comical. Now, disclaimer, I say comical and it's a personal reason for me, because in my mind today, my first thought when I think about the way I used to do it is, how did I have time for that? And the answer is, I didn't have the time. Who has the time? I made the time. So on a far more serious note, like all joking aside, I will never regret what I did to make our homemade Christmas cards year after year, because that was truly a part of me. So it was a very personal thing for me to be super highly creative and to make it a process. I think that I love the production. Like literally, I was my own assembly line, and I just had things in stages, and it was spread all over my kitchen table. It was spread all over the family room, and I loved that. I digged it. At the time, that was like so my cup of tea. At the same time, that was my love language. That was the way that I gave love at Christmas time, is through these homemade little gifts of, here's my family, even though half of them probably went in the trash. Anyway, after the season, here's the story. Some of these cards that I'm going to share with you are ones that I actually, wait for it, mocked up as samples for myself and for my friends. So I mocked up some sample cards so that people would have some ideas for what they could do at Christmas time. Now, maybe this isn't shocking for me to do something like this, but I want to also let you know that my friends demanded it. So Jen, oops, sorry, you know who you are, demanded that I actually mock up, because they wanted to rely on my creativity, and then they just wanted to copy it and mass produce, to which I said, you betcha, because that's what I love to do. Love language. So here are some sample cards that I mocked up for my friends. For example, this little gem right here has a pocket, and the little tags come out of it, where there's a picture. There's 2 pictures on this one, which of course were photoshopped to size, printed, trimmed, adhered onto the tag, including with the little ring. And then on this one, don't forget the detail of the little string, the twine, that has 3 separate tags that have the address and email and the family's name and the mailing address. And oh, don't forget, there's also like a puffy clear sticker thing that you placed over what you had printed and then trimmed out to place on the card. So I won't go into detail on every single card, but you get the idea that, holy cow, lots of effort, right? And this was a sample card, which I actually did use this one for myself one year. So I did this in mass production, times a couple hundred. So I'm special. Okay, let me show you some of the others. This is another mock-up where we've got some clear printed attached with brads. To this day, by the way, even though I don't use them anymore, I still love brads, and I still love the clear element. So anyway, this is a very signature Becky look with the polka dot and the stripes and all of that. Here's another mock-up. You can see I just kind of used my family picture at the time, and it's color blocked using a strip of very thinly cut pattern paper, which I cut little slivers of from a piece of pattern paper, because that made sense. Another example, another like super typical of me with the way the blocks are there, the big dot, and the little, that's adorable. This was like a little die cut thing. You know what I'm talking about. You punch it out, and I attached it with the 2 little brads. This is another mocked example for those who have multiple children and would like to have each person with its own block. You could do something as such, okay? A variation of that, if you don't want to include pictures, is something like this, where you just print words, peace, Noel, joy, love, 2004, which dates this 11 years ago. And you cut those out and put the clear stickers. You guys are a little shocked, amused. I don't know what you are. Okay, so if you want to keep it simple, oh wait, that's not simple at all. You get out the sewing machine and you stitch through each and every card, which actually sounds complicated. It's very therapeutic. Speaking of the sewing machine, what if you got scraps of fabric and you cut little blocks of fabric and you drop them onto the cardstock and then take your sewing machine and run it through? Very modern Christmas tree. Thank you very much. Okay, so there was once upon a time, and this is not just a one-time occurrence, my friends at church said, why don't you mock up some cards but also kit them and prepare them so that we can all just make them and we'll pay you for the material, which was hardly anything because I had a lot of stuff. And we will make the cards based on your examples, your card examples, and the pieces that you pre-package for us. To which I said, sign me up. I love that kind of stuff. I honestly don't know if I even slept that year. So I did, I pre-packaged all the little pieces and components, and there's a little sheet of instructions to say step by step how you do this. And the end result is you get these, I know, beautiful cards that you can then send to your people. Okay, and so this was, and I really genuinely love this. There's ribbon in here. There's pockets on here. Merry Christmas.
Wow.
This one has paint around the edge. This one has another pocket with photos. Okay, let me stop there and just say, once again, I'm laughing about it because I cannot believe I spent this type of time on this type of project. But I have no regrets. Super fun, very creative, and maybe at this point, some of you are like, I'm done with the video, I've got my idea, I'm gonna go off and mass produce some creatively handmade cards. If that's you, awesome. There are major benefits from actually being really creative with your cards, and that's awesome. I have gotten to a point in my life where I have to say, no more, I cannot do that. I need like a 2-minute solution, which is why we developed this part of the app, which is now live, and you can make your cards in less than 2 minutes. So, a little walk down memory lane. I won't go through every card, but I wanted to show you that this is an album that I started many years ago that is a walkthrough year by year and our family's Christmas memories. So I start off with there being a page for David and a page for me that just kind of overviews some of our favorite childhood Christmas memories. And then it goes into year by year, starting with 1995 when we got married. Can you see the whole thing? Is it in view?
If you lift it up a little bit, it'll...
Okay.
There you go. And then just lean it forward a little
This way.
There you go.
Okay.
That way they can see a little bit more of the pictures.
All right, perfect. So this is 1995 when we first got married, and back then I was all about the full newsletter. And then I would implement photos into the newsletter. And you can see with page after page that the newsletter evolves, the card evolves, and why are we laughing? What did I do?
The picture on the newsletter.
It's so editorial.
It's so editorial, that's just it. And that's what I did. And so year after year, and this album in particular, I actually still love this album even though it's super out of date. I need to update it for the most recent years, but I would have a full description of what we did that holiday season. I'd have pictures that kind of walk you through some of the main highlights. And of course the card was attached and the, oh boy, what?
We're just looking at your hair.
Oh, my hair. This is the evolution of Becky's hair. That's what this.
Like a Rachel.
I am.
Like a Rachel.
Right. So this is actually kind of where I've left off with this, is that you can see that I kind of fell off the face of the earth there for a few years. That's when I was getting really overwhelmed with scrapbooking in general, and then developed Project Life, and then now it's just a matter of kind of doing those last few pages in there. So let me just show you as we wrap up here. I want to show you some of my actual Christmas cards, not the samples that I mocked up for my friends or the kits that I put together for the ladies at church, but my actual real Christmas cards. So here's an example when Porter was born, our firstborn, 13 years ago. We combined the Christmas card and the baby announcement. So my thought was that we would, gotta have the interactive component. And it says Merry Christmas from the Higgins family in that little pocket. And then I have a little photo strip that is of Porter and then of our family. And then there's a little flip book attached with the sewing machine strip at the top. I know you guys. You didn't get this one, Tony?
No.
Yeah, no. We didn't know each other at that point. Anyway, so yeah, a little booklet inside that Kara's hyperventilating, so she didn't maybe know this side of me, but you're not surprised.
No, and I'm not like it's like an amazing thing.
No, it's not amazing. It's just what I did.
Those are the cards that I had kept year after year.
Have you kept this one?
Not that you sent me, just that friends have sent me.
Oh, yes.
Those are the ones I keep.
Yes.
It's decluttered and they're in a trash can.
So this is another one that I did, and I wanted to represent like a little gift. And I have to tell you something kind of interesting about this one. That little tag that I hand cut and inserted a little grommet in the top of every single one is personalized to every single family. Another flip chart. This time I did it as all photographs. So this is a print that I made in Photoshop with the picture and the text on there. And then another print, and then another print. So I actually attached the 3 prints together and then did a folded over tag, like a packaging that you'd find like at the grocery store. Staple, staple, easy, done. I actually still am kind of in love with this idea. Not doing it this year, but I still love that idea. This is another way that I attached a couple of prints. You can see that there's the main page and then more of the update. This one, on the inside, the prints were actually held by a little strip of ribbon that was attached with a couple of brads.
Wow.
This is, I just loved doing this. Okay, and then just to wrap up, when I simplified my process and did less of a mass production, it really then did become actual prints that I would just print and I would manipulate in Photoshop. This is the first year you took our family pictures, Kara, right? I think. I love that. Still love it. And you did this as well. This I made with the Apple computer, like the Mac, on the Mac, super easy. And then just kind of Photoshopped that year that we didn't have family pictures in time for Christmas. I'm gonna stop there. I've shared with you plenty of different ideas, but my thought in sharing this with you guys was kind of twofold. I really did hope that a lot of you find humor in maybe the way that you used to mass produce cards, but also knowing that so many of you do love the creative element. Perhaps many of you are finding some good ideas, at least to get the wheel spinning. And if you do want to do something creative, then there's a lot of ideas to kind of tap into. Some of them over the top, but hey, everyone has their own taste. And so over the top was definitely mine for many of years. No matter how you do your Christmas cards, your holiday cards, your Hanukkah cards, whatever cards you're making, I think that the most important thing is to remember that it's not only a piece of you and a gift that you give to those that you love, but it really should be exactly what you want it to be this Christmas season, this holiday season. And so for you, if you are feeling that major creative bug and you really want to dive into some sort of production, you should do that. Don't oversimplify it. If, on the other hand, you feel like you need to simplify something this holiday season because everything is so crazy, then please, by all means, simplify your process. Bring it down to a level of quickness and ease so that you can focus on the more important parts of the holiday season. And that is, again, why we brought the holiday cards to the Project Life app so that you can do it in the palm of your hand and do it in less than 2 minutes. So with that said, thank you for joining me on this day of sharing all this craziness. Hope you have a great holiday season and we'll see you again next week. Bye, guys.